The German advance toward Moscow had seemed unstoppable since the opening weeks of the invasion. The Wehrmacht had torn deep into the Soviet Union with a speed that stunned even its own commanders. Armies collapsed, front lines disintegrated, and roads lay open. Villages surrendered or were bypassed entirely. Panzer columns surged forward in long, dust-choked line steel wedges smashing through weak points, encircling Soviet formations before they could withdraw. Motorized infantry followed close, mopping up pockets of resistance, while artillery and air power crushed any attempt at organized defense. Soviet counterattacks came piecemeal and late, often breaking themselves against German guns before dissolving into chaos. Their numbers alone told the story. Yet the war was far from over. For every Soviet formation destroyed, another was raised. Units went into battle under strength, poorly equipped, sometimes barely trained, but they went in regardless. Losses were accepted as the price of time. It was here west of Vyazma, along a narrow road threading through a small village, that the advance began to falter. The Soviets had chosen this place carefully. The road was vital, one of the few reliable routes east. If the Germans were delayed here even briefly, it could disrupt the tightening encirclement and buy precious hours for units to escape. German scouts report a small Soviet force positioned along the north side of the road. Higher headquarters has ordered us to take and hold this crossroads to allow the delayed column ahead. The mission is key positions. Wehrmacht Army Group Center 750 points, hard orders. The leader of this force is an Oberleutnant armed with an SMG, supported by his trusted Obergefreiter. 8-man Heer Rifle Squad, led by an Unteroffizier armed with an MP40, supported by an LMG. Another Rifleman Squad led by an Unterfeldwebel with an SMG, supported by an MG34. The force will be ported with a 5 cm Granatwerfer. Supporting fire will be provided by an attached MMG. Leading advance is all leichter Panzerspähwagen 222 probing ahead with speed, armor and firepower. Steel tracks bite into the road as a Panzerkampfwagen 3080 rolls toward the village, rumbling up the road. An SD, KFZ 251 delivers German infantry straight into the fight. A mobile rifle squad rides in the half-track, led by an SMG-armed NCO and supported with an LMG.
Defending the crossroads are Soviet Western Reserve Forces. 723 points, 10 order dice. Leading the Soviet defense is a senior lieutenant, supported by his trusted sergeant, both armed with PPD-34 submachine guns. Holding the crossroads is a PM M1910 machine gun team ready to suppress the enemy. Providing free support is a sniper team, positioned with a clear vantage point over the defense. Providing fire support is a battalion mortar team, ready to rain shells onto the enemy. Standing ready against enemy armor is a PTRD-41 team watching the road. For close infantry support, a BA-10 scout car stands ready to strike and redeploy. Answering the threat of German armor, a T-26B tank holds position, ready to roll forward. A 10-man inexperienced rifle squad takes position, led by an NCO armed with a PPD-34 and supported by a DP-27. Another 10-man rifle squad holds the line. Green troops, an NCO with an SSH-40 submachine gun, and a light machine gun for support. Another 10-man squad takes the crossroads. New soldiers, an SSH-40 in the hands of their NCO, and a DP-27 laying down fire.
The Soviet defense is ready. The BA-10 scout car lies hidden behind the trees, waiting to strike the fascist advance. Behind a burned-out dacha, the battalion Minimiat team stands prepared to rain fire on the enemy. Forward positions are held by a 10-man rifle squad, new to battle but firm in their resolve. In the ruins nearby, the Maxim machine gun crew is dug in deep, covering the road coming into the village, ready to suppress any oncoming enemy. Another rifle squad guards the rear approach, hiding behind soft cover, ready to reinforce wherever the line is threatened. At the crossroads, the PTR-D41 team waits behind improvised cover, watching for German armor. The The senior lieutenant and his sergeant direct the defence, driving the men forward without hesitation. Close by, an inexperienced rifle squad stands firm, nerves tight but resolve unbroken, ready to advance. The T-26B tank stands in reserve, hidden from enemy eyes, ready to roll in defence of the motherland. From a tall Stalinka building, the sniper team watches the battlefield in silence, rifles steady. As the mortar spotter prepares to call down fire, the road to Vyazma will not fall easily. The motherland stands ready.
Fahrer, vorwärts!
The half-track accelerates, pushing forward to deploy its infantry. The Maxim machine gun team digs in, preparing an ambush for the coming onslaught. The PTRD team follows and sets up an ambush, ready to engage enemy armour. The rifle team advances cautiously, moving from cover to cover. The rifle team swings its LMG toward the oncoming half-track. The NCO shouts the order, and the gun opens up in a burst of fire. The order is given, but the rounds fall short. The half-track is out of range.
Fahrer, Motor starten.
The German scout car accelerates hard, charging toward the crossroads. The rifle squad near the lieutenant moves forward, trying to bring their weapons to bear on the oncoming half-track. But due to their limited rifle training, every shot misses its mark. The T-26 engine coughs, then growls as the tank moves toward the fighting. The commander locks onto the target, shouting the order as the gunner lines up the German half-track.
Готов к огню!
The gunner hadn't adjusted his sights. The round sails over the target. They adjust their aim and open up with the light machine gun. Hit confirmed. Engines screaming, the BA-10 surges forward to cut off the German scout car. Holding his breath, the commander locks the target in his sights and fires. The BA-10 shot misses. The German MMG crew rushes forward, racing to get the gun set up. The 8-man squad advances at the run. Pinned inside the half-track, the 8-man squad goes to ground until the fire eases. The Soviet sniper tracks the moving MMG team, steadies his aim, and prepares to fire. The German drops, but moments later the sniper sees him rise again wounded, but still manning the weapon.
Sanitäter, schnell!
The German light mortar team sprints ahead, moving into position. The Oberleutnant steps forward, studying the crossroads under fire. Radio traffic crackles as the spotter feeds targeting data to the medium mortar team, advancing German squad in his sights.
Цель не накрыта! Корректировка! Влево 10 тысячных!
The final rifle squad shifts forward, taking up a stronger position against the approaching Germans.
Fahrer, vorwärts, keine Pause. Wir stoßen jetzt vor.
Panzer 3080 roars to life and pushes forward with purpose. Using the tank as cover, the last 8-man rifle squad pushes forward. With most of the fight in view, the senior lieutenant chooses to hold his ground. The Oberleutnant wastes no time, issuing multiple orders to push the Germans back into the fight.
Los jetzt, vorwärts, unter Feuerschutz bewegen!
The 8-man rifle squad moves out first, rushing to the small farm to pour covering fire onto Soviet forces on the far side of the road. They fire everything they have, and even after moving into position, the volume of fire forces the Soviets to keep their heads down. The sheer weight of fire overwhelms the Soviets, cutting one man down. The light mortar team advances, rushing to get within range to deploy their weapon. Seeing the moment, the Oberleutnant pushes forward with the squads, driving them onward under fire. Pinned briefly by the sniper's shot, The medium machine gun team falters, then steadies itself, loading the weapon and readying to return fire. The MG crew saturates the building with fire, convinced the threat has been neutralized. Under heavy fire, the sniper team hits the deck unhurt, but forced to stay down. Reloaded and steady, the BA-10 lines up another shot on the German scout car. The scout car senses the trap and snaps into reverse before the BA-10 can respond. Sights corrected, the T-26B gunner steadies his aim. The commander shouts.
Крыть огонь!
The half-track grinds to a halt. The driver knows he must move, or it's the end for him, and the rifle squad in the back. He throws everything he has into the engine, and just as it begins to lurch forward, the half-track erupts in a storm of fire and steel. 2 men are killed. The survivors scatter into cover. The green rifle squad watches the half-track explode, then sees the German squad emerge shaken but determined, eager for their share of the fight. They fire but hit nothing. The Panzer 3080 surges forward for a side shot on the BA-10, but the sights are off and the round ricochets. It swings its machine gun on the Soviets and fires, but no effect. The PTRD team takes aim at the Panzer, squeezes the trigger, but the shot goes wide. The Soviet rifle squad moves up to engage the Germans across the road. They take position, ready their weapons, and unleash a barrage, but inexperience shows. Not a single round finds its mark. The Maxim machine gun holds fire as friendly troops move across their line of sight, laying in wait. Shaken by the loss of one of their own, the green rifle squad pauses. Then courage takes hold, and they surge forward toward the enemy. The spotter's voice cuts through the chaos with fresh coordinates. The mortar crew reacts instantly. Shells thump from the tube, racing through the sky toward their mark. Not on target yet, but closing fast. The senior lieutenant and his sergeant advance for a better view of the battle. Shaken by the machine gun fire, the Soviet sniper struggles back to his feet. Smoke and movement blur together, friend and foe indistinguishable. He snaps off a rushed shot only to realize, with relief, it goes wide. In the chaos, he had nearly fired on his own men. The Heer rifle squad pushes up behind the tank, hugging its armor for protection. The BA-10 steadies, sights fixed.
Давай!
The Panzer commander screams in panic.
Turm drehen. Fahrer, sofort zurück.
The tank kicks into reverse, engine screaming. When the smoke clears, the tank lies in ruins. Using what cover they can find, the Soviet rifle squad pushes ahead, closing the distance on the German squad. They ready their weapons, squeeze the triggers, and drown the battlefield in gunfire. Under fire, the Germans go to ground. One German falls. The senior lieutenant barks out rapid orders, directing multiple squads at once. Regaining his focus, the sniper finds a new target, a German NCO. He exhales, sights in, and fires. The round clips the NCO, and the German squad immediately takes cover. The Soviet spotter sights the same German squad and radios their position to the mortar crew.
Минометы, огонь!
Mortar rounds rain down as the spotter peers through the smoke, waiting to see if the fire is on target. One shell lands true. 4 Germans are killed instantly. The unit takes 2 more pins and teeters on the edge of breaking, but the nearby Oberleutnant steadies them and keeps them in the fight. Reduced by heavy losses, the half-strength rifle squad freezes in place. The Oberleutnant screams for them to move left, toward the house. Gathering what strength they have left, the unit finally pushes forward. They reach their position and spot Soviets advancing. Weapons come up, and they open fire. The Soviets move forward, eyes fixed elsewhere, never spotting the Germans hidden in position. One man goes down. Catching sight of Soviet movement, the light mortar team rushes the shot. A shell slides into the tube and launches but sails long, missing the unit entirely. Through the narrow scope, the German gunner sweeps the field. A shape resolves in the distance. The BA-10. He centers it in his sights. The BA-10 doesn't realize the roles have reversed. The hunter is now the hunted. The BA-10 is struck and torn apart, vanishing in fire and smoke.
Ziel zerstört.
Rifle team moves forward, searching for solid cover while keeping their weapons trained on the advancing Germans. They have a clear shot. Exposed in the open, the Germans realize they must move for cover. As they break into motion, one is hit and collapses to the ground. Isolated and shaken, he thinks of breaking away. Then he sees the Oberleutnant nearby, eyes fixed on him. The MMG team leaves their dug-in position, moving to reinforce the flank after the BA-10's destruction. The PTRD team lies in wait. The Green Rifle Squad tries to summon the courage to move forward, but without leadership nearby, uncertainty takes hold. They drop to the ground and wait. Seeing the right flank collapse, the Oberleutnant abandons it and runs toward the main body of his troops to issue new orders. The tank moves forward, hunting for targets. With a slow grind of steel, the tank's turret turns and settles on the battered rifle squad. Spotting the tank, the Germans keep their heads down. The hull-mounted machine gun roars to life, raking another squad across the field. A single round finds flesh, but does little. The weight of fire still forces the unit to stay down. As the right flank gives way, the MMG team pivots the gun, shifting fire to support the left flank. Unwilling to cross the open road under fire, the final German rifle squad pivots right and advances toward the farm buildings. Sensing opportunity, the Oberleutnant runs to his troops and fires off rapid orders, trying to regain the initiative.
Trupps sammeln, vorrücken zur Farm, MG in Stellung. Wir übernehmen hier.
The Heer Rifle Squad advances toward the objective, maneuvering into a better position to pour fire onto the Soviets. They steady their nerves, lift their rifles as one, and fix their sights on the MMG team caught in the open. The Soviets are caught completely off guard. Two men are lost. The lone gunner stays, determined to avenge his comrades. The German MMG team then makes ready from the officer's orders. They set their sights on a Soviet rifle squad and unleash a hellstorm of gunfire. The Soviets hit the deck, escaping without casualties. The Oberleutnant moves up to a better position. He raises his MP40 and fires. They lay it on hard. Rounds strike home, one after another. When the smoke clears, the Soviets are still standing, only one man lost in the exchange. Alone now, the light mortar man refuses to quit and prepares to continue the fight. Operating the mortar alone is too difficult. The shell goes wide. Seeing German reinforcements shift to the right flank, the Soviet commander rushes to meet the threat. Cold and deliberate, the Soviet rifle squad brings their weapons to bear on the downed German squad. Determined to leave no threat behind. But nothing lands. The half-strength rifle squad starts to fall back. But the commander yells them into action and drives them toward the nearby farm. The Soviet rifle squad spots the Germans and wavers for a heartbeat. Then resolve hardens. They steady themselves, pass their nerve, and unleash a gauntlet of fire on the advancing enemy. Bullets hammer the German squad as they run for cover. Two Germans lie motionless. The scout car rumbles forward. The autocannon traverses and barks to life, followed instantly by the MMG roaring alongside it. They see it at the last second. The autocannon and MMG erupt, ripping through the Soviets as order collapses into chaos. Pinned down, two Soviets are lost. Alone and exposed, the Soviet MMG gunner struggles to his feet and brings the weapon back into action. With a roar of gunfire, he pulls the trigger and pours a wall of rounds into the advancing Germans. Firing by himself, the lone gunner can do little more than pin the Germans in place. Lacking officer support, the Soviet rifle squad steels itself and rallies, preparing for the next assault. New instructions come over the radio. The mortar crew adjusts, fires, and the rounds fall wide. Catching sight of the German scout car, the PTRD team steadies the rifle and fires a massive round downrange, but missed the mark. The sniper steadies on the MMG team, breath shaking under the pressure. He fires, but the shot slips wide. As the Germans mass on the right flank, the Soviet tank rumbles forward, hunting for fresh targets. Their guns settle on the scout car left exposed in the open. At the same time, the driver swings his weapon onto a group of German infantry. Miss. The moment the scout car sees the tank, it jerks into evasive maneuvers. Tires skid, the engine coughs and then dies.
Feind! Wir sitzen fest! Da ist der Feind!
Fire erupts, metal blows apart. The scout car ceases to exist. Smoke hangs low over the battlefield as the fighting grinds toward its breaking point. Wreckage litters the road-burned vehicles, shattered cover, and bodies left where they fell. What began as a rapid advance has become a brutal, close-range struggle for control. Battered units cling to whatever ground they hold. Some squads are reduced to half strength, others held together only by shouted orders and raw determination. Commanders move where they must, forcing men forward, holding lines together by sheer will. Both sides know this is it. There is no time left for maneuver. No reserves waiting behind the line. Only what remains. As the last turn begins, the battlefield holds its breath. One final push. One last stand, and the outcome of the road hangs in the balance. The Soviets seize the initiative and immediately turn their guns on the German officer, trying to cut the head from the snake. With nothing held back, they pour every round they have into the position. The officer ducks behind cover and lives, but the man beside him is cut down. If he hesitates, it's over. The German officer bellows orders, trying to wrench control of the fight back from the chaos. The rifle unit advances toward the objective, rifles up, sights locked on the Soviets. The Soviets never realize the Germans have moved behind them. By the time they do, it's too late. The squad is gone. Against the odds, the battered rifle squad holds together, passes its check, and moves into position near the objective, guns blazing at the Soviets. German fire cuts them down. 3 Soviets are killed. Sensing the shift, the Oberleutnant surges forward, pressing hard to drive the red tide back. He snaps up his weapon and unleashes the entire magazine in a savage spray of fire. The German officer strikes so fast the Soviet MMG has no time to react and is killed. Momentum stays with the Germans. The MMG pivots and opens fire on the injured rifle squad, hoping to finish them off. Alone now, the NCO looks over the fallen, then breaks away, retreating off the battlefield. The PTRD swings away from steel and armour and settles on flesh and blood. Once built to kill tanks, its sights now lock onto the German officer. The line has shifted, and so has the weapon. The officer drops where he stands, dead. This is the moment. Aim small, miss small. The sniper locks onto the lone mortarman, steadies his breath, and squeezes the trigger. The man is gone. Steel grinds forward as the tank closes in, ending the fight for the remaining Germans. Well dug in, the Germans cling to cover until the tank's MMG erupts, cutting down 2 of the men in a hail of fire. The main gun misses. The senior lieutenant steps into the open, determined to hold the objective at any cost. He will not give up another inch. The PPS H-40 rattles dry in his hands. Smoke drifts away and 1 German is rattled with holes. No longer relying on coordinates, the mortar crew fires straight at Germans they can see, but overshoot the oncoming MMG team. With the fight nearly spent, the final Soviet rifle squad advances to secure the objective, then fires at long range into the remnants of the German squad. No German casualties. As the final shots echo across the field, the battle at Vyazma finally grinds to a halt. Smoke drifts over shattered buildings and churned earth where both sides gave everything they had left. Units are broken, leaders are down, and the road is scarred by fire and steel. The Germans fought hard, pressing the flanks and striking with discipline and speed. But in the end, they could not break the Soviet line. One by one, their momentum bled away under stubborn resistance, relentless fire, and costly missteps. The Soviets remain standing. The objective is held. The road is denied. At terrible cost, the Red Army absorbs the blow and pushes back, claiming victory by the narrowest of margins, 7-5. At Vyazma, the advance is stalled. The road holds for now.